Yo, I swallowed too hard.
So loud.
I think I should cut that part out.
What, you choking or
I don't know.
did you choke?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like that.
I tried to short the whole buckwheat tea. Anyway, welcome back everyone to another episode of Low High Trips, and today we have the recurring part-time / casual volunteer position co-host Kasey. Right before we dive straight into Low High Trips annual review number 2, I think. Yes. Still can't believe I've done this for 2 years now. On the way. Quick shout out to On and Gain on their engagement. Yeah!
Congratulations and
Now we're
celebrations.
Yeah. So On is one of the realest person that I've got the opportunity and the privilege to know, and we knew one another through our postgraduate in counseling / psychotherapy. And speaking of which as well, On did establish a center for psychology, counseling, and psychotherapy where they do provide online counseling, psychotherapy, and mental fitness courses. I believe they do have a free mental fitness course as well. Link down in the description if you're interested to, suss it out. Just to highlight that I found on the website, what do they offer? So to facilitate positive changes and empower clients who seek support is the essence of what they do. You will receive a customized treatment and guidance based on your circumstances, values, and objectives. You may wish to address any topic, broad or focused, whether it is an issue that needs to be dealt with, a goal you are working towards, or you just need someone by your side. At Mission On, they put their clients first and only use psychological interventions that are empirically supported and evidence-based. Just to provide a disclaimer, this is 100% not supported, supported. This is 100% not sponsored, but I just wanted to take this opportunity to, express how proud I am of you On for fulfilling your dreams or working towards it. And I genuinely wish you and Gain a lifetime of happiness, health, wealth, and positive vibes and good vibes only. So speaking of engagement as well, a quick shout out to Kevin and Patricia on their engagement. To which Kevin actually, FYI, Kevin is the person that broke my nose and somewhat repositioned my nose 45
Free
degrees
plastic surgery.
Yeah, free plastic surgery 45 degrees to the left. Unfortunately, I have to deal with that insecurity for the rest of my life. Shout out to Kokyong. But yeah, Kokyong, aka Kevin, provided a question for this episode, so thank you for that. And that question is...
Okay, I'm gonna read it out. Do you expect your life to be like this at the age of 30?
So we're just gonna go around and disclose my age, yeah?
Existential crisis.
What's the question again, sorry?
I just said it like 1 second ago. Memory loss at the age of 30.
Yeah.
Do you expect your life to be like this at the age of 30? At 30.
Okay. I would say 100% not. When I was picturing and visualizing my life at 30 throughout my entire teenage years, as well as adolescence and young adulthood, like when I was in my 20s, specifically 20 to 25, I have a lot of checklists that I would like to check at the age of 30. For example, I like to earn, an annual income of this specific number. I like to at least, have a property at that stage of life, this and that. So what it means is that I always imagine the age 30 with substantial things or things that I can see, feel, touch.
Measurable.
I mean? Yeah, measurable. Yeah. Things, not measurable. Yeah, measurable is one of it, but more so items. More so products, or things that can be purchased. They're always things that can be purchased, and they're 100% financially driven or oriented, where it's all about, annual income of this, should be able to have a property, should be able to have this. I mean, I didn't really give a shit about car. For me, like car is always just like a transport that gets you from A to B. So I never understood people who splurge a lot on cars, but if that's your thing, fair enough. I do understand. Yeah, but speaking of all of that, I feel like my priorities and values evolved over time. Where right now, I don't know how to put it, but I did not expect myself to be in this state of self-acceptance at the age of 30. I think growing up, I had a lot of insecurities. I had a lot of things that I was just trying to mask or trying to like compensate by doing other things. I'm not sure if I'm speaking too broadly at the moment, but long story short, I did not expect myself to be this content with my life at the age of 30, which is really weird. Because I do believe that I am a person who was extremely driven, ambitious. It's just that I don't go around, like, oh man, hustle culture, hashtag, all that shit. But I don't know, right now I do feel like my priorities have changed. I no longer have the undying drive or ambition to reach that goal at the expense of everything. Don't get me wrong, I do have goals that I would like to check off, but the timing of when I reach those goals are gradually being shifted because I have other things to juggle around. I think back then, I was very narrow-minded. My vision was very narrow, very one-dimensional, very like short-sighted in a way, where I did not consider my mental health into it.
What changed? Were there any triggers? What happened that, you came to this realization that sounds like you're becoming a bit more flexible?
I think I reflected a little bit more, especially I reflected upon the life of my parents. And I feel like the checklist that I used to have were things that probably, I wouldn't say my parents imposed onto me, but it was something that I was influenced to believe. It was all that I knew. I mean, let's be honest, like, when I was young, all I knew was like, I could either choose to be like an engineer, can be a doctor, or lawyer, very typical Asian parenting or options that you have. But as I left home at the age of 18 until now, which is more than a decade, insane to think about really, I realized that I am my own person and those goals are not things that are important to me.
Like, might work for them, but not you.
Yeah, and you have to know that those are the goals that definitely they did not impose onto me. And they themselves acknowledge as well that we are from very different generations. They mentioned like, back then they could easily, purchase a house. I wouldn't say easy, right? I'll take that back. At the expense of my dad's physical health. So I don't think that's easy.
But it was possible back then compared to the market these days.
Yeah. Not going to lie, right now it's still possible. Of course, I'm speaking from a very privileged position, I think. Have to acknowledge that. With a full-time paying job and everything else. It's possible, it's just not easy or as straightforward, with the whole inflation, housing crisis, rental crisis and all that. So this really made me think the goals that I had back then were things that I learned from my dad unconsciously. Like my dad is just one of the most hardworking people that I know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, I do not agree with his approach. I think his approach was perfect for his era. For his era, hard work gives you a lot of payoff. You know what I mean? Like he's the most loyal man to his company. Just for a quick context as well for everyone, like he's a one company man. He graduated high school. He worked for the same company until today. But he's the, generic story of started from the bottom, now he's there. So all through hard work, because I don't think he's that smart of a man. I think his work ethic is there, but he's not the smartest of all. But yeah, our goals are very different. And full credits to my dad to provide me with the privilege of not having financial driven goals at 30. I think closer I am to 30, the more I appreciate my time, the more I realize how time is fleeting, how life is really short. And by reaching those goals at the expense of everything else, relationship, family, friends, and basically myself, I don't think it's worth it. I tried. There was a period of time where I was working 6 days a week, every Saturday, and I massively burned myself out to the point where I did not have the will to live. I was just like, man, life sucks. There's no point of life. Like, I was happy with the money that I was earning on the weekend, but at the expense of everything else. And I think we reflected a bit as well, right? Like, what's the purpose of money? In the end of the day, the purpose of money, the purpose of all these goals is just so that I can do the things that I want whenever I want. Essentially freedom.
Yeah.
And I feel like I am learning to strike a balance between, working towards the goals that I have versus my quality of life at the moment. And I don't think I'm at that stage where I want to sacrifice the quality of my life. And that's something that I try to learn from my dad, because I feel like he, like I say, massive respect to him. He sacrificed his personal life, physical health, and mental health to support our family, to be able to, sponsor me my tertiary education, which is absolutely mental. Like, what a man. It's funny how I used to despise him. But, from a person who had no childhood because he had to sell tofu with his mom in the morning market while his younger siblings were just like chilling and playing at home. Yeah, I don't think he has any. He basically lost all personal identity for his family. One that he was born in and one that he created. And I don't think it would be wise for me to follow the pathway of my dad to, continue on that grind set hustle or working as fast as I can to retirement / semi-retirement. Because I feel like I'm in a different position to him right now. Yeah.
I mean, sounds like now you have other priorities. But back then, work was your main priority. I think it was a bit different. Like, that sounds so sad, but maybe it was the main thing you would look forward to. But now it's like your lifestyle is a bit different. Like, you have different things like hobbies and maybe food you want to eat, and suddenly work is not the only thing in your life. So it's probably a healthy change in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the change is one that is very welcome with open arms, one that I did not think that I need and want, actually. Like I mentioned, at one point I was working like 6 days a week. Was I happy with my, the speed of like how much I was, I think my jaw just popped. But anyway, how much I was like gaining as much as I could as a fresh graduate at that point.
I think it was around COVID as well, so it's kind of like you had no choice. There's no,
I nothing to look
like,
forward to.
you can't go out.
Yeah.
Everyone just work, and then people getting fired every day. So the anxiety was there.
It was bad. That was easily one of the worst periods of my life, generally speaking. Yeah, one of the worst. I think I ticked all the DSM symptoms of depression and potentially anxiety. But when you're going through it, you don't take a step back to like view yourself from a third person point of view. Especially when, I was in lockdown and I wasn't really socializing or communicating with people. I was very isolated, and I welcomed the isolation. In a way, I thought, lone wolf and all that shit. You know what I mean? You want to go far, you go alone. Is it how it goes? No. Actually,
Really?
No.
I think that's the other way.
Yeah, I think it's if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go not alone. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like one thing that I really appreciate is my obsession with self-reflection.
So what the one we saw the other day, like when it comes to self-reflection, like you're not a project. You do have to take breaks here and there as well. Like sometimes like being too obsessed with the idea of self-reflection, self-growth, like somehow becomes the barrier, like the obstacle for you to actually grow.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with constant self-reflection and like constant need for self-growth can be, I wouldn't use the word toxic, I don't think it's a toxic behavior or toxic mindset, but more so it sometimes you lose your path in the process of like the ultimate self-growth.
Yeah, you forgot your intention and your purpose.
Yeah.
From the get-go, so you just like so stuck in the process, the
Yeah.
middle bit, like the medium.
Correct, yeah. I get stuck in the process, exactly. Then to quote Gucci Mane, you get lost in the sauce, you know what I mean? Actually, I have no idea what it means. I have no idea what it means, but I just love that quote. You get lost in the sauce.
Is it hard to be fresh if you don't have money, or can you still pull it off?
See, when I ain't had no money, I still had sauce. See, if you don't got no sauce, then you're lost. But you can also get lost in the sauce.
You can get how you get lost in the sauce?
Man, a bitch gonna get lost in the sauce, man. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, man.
I'm sprinkling sauce, dropping sauce every street, man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I dig it.
Overdose of sauce.
That's what it is.
No meat, just sauce.
When you're born, can you be born with sauce, or do you acquire
No, you
sauce?
can't born with
you
sauce.
You get sauce. You get sauce from.
How you gonna be born with seasoning? You gotta get seasoned. I wasn't born without the sauce.
Hell yeah.
I had to acquire this sauce.
But yeah, I think I'm happy. I think that's a very important thing. This year hasn't been easy at all. I think this year has been, I think I always say that, this is one of the most difficult periods of my life. This is one of the most difficult years. Bro, that's like every year.
My life in general.
One of the most difficult existence in the world. How hard. But I do think like this year has a lot of hiccups and like speed bumps, speed roads, bro. Speed bumps, and I guess without diving too deep into personal stuff, I think I received the news of 6 passings in a span of half a year, or slightly more than half a year. I'm not too sure, but I think we did the maths or math, not crystal math, but I think I received the news of like a passing directly related to me. On average,
1.5 months.
Yeah, one every 1 month or 1.5 months in between there, which I think is absolutely, I'm actually speechless. I can't say that I'm numb, but I don't even know what to feel. It got to the point I'm just like, like, how am I supposed to feel about this? Like,
did you expect yourself to experience this kind of like situations at the age of 30? Is this something you thought before, like, when I'm hit like, let's say this age, this is what likely I'll be, encountering, and people, deaths, passing away?
absolutely not. although I was somewhat mentally preparing for it, and when I mentioned that, it's because I don't know, I was just like self-reflecting a lot, and I was just thinking, wow, I'm like in my 20s, and I haven't received a major passing of a loved one. And I always I wouldn't use the word fantasize, but project a whole scenario, include like a long-term scenario, not just like, oh, what would happen if person A passes away? But I would imagine how person A passes away, and I'll project how my life would be after the passing for 1 year. And I'll go to person B, person C, person D, just to like somewhat fantasize how I would
Worst
feel.
case scenario.
Yeah. And when it really did happen, it happened back to back to back to back to back to back. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. And it doesn't help as well that I'm, gotten a few nightmares here and there.
I would say a few.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Of nightmares, of people that are still alive, that I absolutely treasure and love, passing away. And yeah, I think grieving is a very personal process. And everyone processes it differently at their own pace. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where we're gonna go from here. I think it's something I'm still wrapping my head around.
I feel like this episode is so low energy.
I don't think low energy is the right term for it. I just feel like it's a bit more personal. And obviously speaking, if I'm talking about something personal and something quite heavy, I don't think it's appropriate. Yo, I had back to back to back deaths, man. I'm processing my grief. And I think that is a very good segue actually, because I was just thinking about what kind of like podcast episodes that I would like to do. And, we spoke about goals and how my life would look like at 30. I generally thought that with podcasts, the only goal I had was one episode every fortnight. I could not care what episode it was. And I don't think that is a goal that resonates with me anymore. It no longer means a lot to me. And I think that's fair. Back then, I used to have a lot of like self criticism. I'm just like, how dare you change your goal, you absolute wanker? Like, you just change. You think what? How can you like sway all the time? How can you not commit to the goal?
I think it's your commitment issues. Like the moment you commit to something, I think it's not just the time frame. You force yourself to maintain exactly the same.
Yeah.
Like it's like if I'm gonna do this thing, I have to do it the exact same way for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that has changed 100%. And moving forward, I don't know what the podcast will look like. But long story short, I just want to do things that I like.
Wow. Personal growth. Wow. From you. You live, laugh, love. Like minimal live, laugh, love.
Yeah. Virtual live, laugh, love. But as you know, I created and started this project just because I wanted to be more comfortable in my own voice. Absolutely hate the sound of my voice. But right now I think, it's okay, Not hate, just dislike. But yeah, I'm becoming much more comfortable with speaking and to, I don't know, just say things and know that those things could potentially change in the future, because that's part of growth, right?
Do you think you achieved what you wanted to, as in like the purpose or the intention when you first came up with this podcast, like where you are right now after 2 years?
I would say it's a process instead of like a goal, because me being comfortable in my own voice and me being like comfortable, I wouldn't use the word public speaking because this is technically not public, but more so like putting my voice out there, which is something I'm very concerned about, something I wouldn't use the word insecure, but more like I'm very anxious about putting my opinion out there. Back then, I'm not too sure. I think could potentially be self-esteem issues growing up, where my parents, specifically my mom, used to like question a lot of my decisions. Of course, back then I had a lot of questionable decisions, which is fair. I was a growing boy, going through puberty. But right now, I feel like I'm a bit more, I'm growing to be more confident in my decisions, which are always backed with justifications.
Sometimes too much.
Yeah, sometimes too much. No matter how much I mental parkour around my decisions. But yes, I think it's a process, and I don't think it's something that I can achieve, if that makes sense. Like, how do I measure that? But as funny as that sounds, I think in the end of the day, there's just like a feeling, It's like, I feel more confident now. So I think in a measurement type of way, yes, it's definitely helping me reach my goals. Up to the point where I actually emceed Esther's wedding in front of like 100 plus people. I'm not too sure.
200.
Really?
I think
Oh my
so,
God.
yeah.
I don't know. The whole night I was just blacking out. Not from alcohol, but just like
Anxiety.
ish. When I first stood up on stage, I was definitely like, oh my God, like there's a lot of people. But I think the moment I started talking into the mic, like the first two words or the first sentence, and I just got into the groove. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go on autopilot. We can't think. We're just gonna do. It's just like right now when I'm doing the podcast episode, I do appreciate it. And I think it really helps me break away from thinking about the past and future. Because I do realize that I always live in the past or future, where I'm always like either worrying about the past, worrying about the future, or pondering upon the past and like, coming out with like situations on how I could have handled it better. Right? But whenever I'm doing podcasts, I feel like I'm just spazzing, and at times I don't even really know what I say. Actually, no, that is a lie. I need to take responsibility. I know what I'm saying.
He just wrote like a mini agenda, like notes on his WhatsApp. So
Yes.
nah.
Yeah, that's the BTS. Sort of like a semi-structured, just to have like, we'll know where we're going. Because if not, we can easily sit here for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very happy with where this podcast is going. I think it's becoming more what I want to do. In the past 2 years, things were very experimental. I've had like a million series. That's no longer going to be the case. From now onwards, I'm just going to be inviting people that I am curious about their thoughts. And obviously speaking, Kasey is going to make her odd appearances here and there. And yeah, it's going to be talking about anything and everything that I'm interested in, or that I could potentially not be interested in, but I'm curious about. So we'll see how we go. Yeah, no goal, no direction, just freestyle and inshallah.
You plan to not plan.
Yeah, I plan to not have a plan. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm just feeling very zen, obviously, right now. I think the low energy is good. Sometimes it reminds me that I don't always have to be like ecstatic. Oh my God, is that even the right word? Like to be hype about something. Sometimes it's okay to. I don't know what I'm talking about. Actually, my brain is scrambled.
Are you still caffeinated?
I think sugar
Really?
rush. Sugar
Sugar
rush.
rush.
Yeah,
From
man.
what? Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, the slices.
Yeah. Fair.
I'm actually so, yeah. The sugar.
Really?
Yeah, my brain is a bit. I feel very distracted by everything. I can hear the raindrops behind, dropping
You're
on
very
the floor.
sensitive, your body.
I think so.
To like stimulant.
Yeah, you did a sensory profile on me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was about high registration.
Nah. I think it's sensitivity and sensory avoiding, but it really depends on each sensory processing. As in, you can be sensory seeking in this one, let's say hearing, and you can be sensory avoiding in, let's say, visual. So I actually don't remember. It was a while ago.
Come
but
on, man.
it was a proper assessment. So yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess with that, think this is a good time to wrap it up. But just right before I do, just want to say, really appreciate everyone that has been following me on this journey. All 2 of you. I do feel like it's, I always appreciate all feedback. And yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback about the episode that I did with my mom. And thank you for that. I am genuinely looking forward to be recording more episodes with my mom when I have the opportunity to. Stay tuned for, new guests or comeback of guests. And yeah, I'm genuinely glad I'm at that point where I feel like I can just record something. And back then I used to feel very insecure if I were to say something which are not factually correct. For example, I'm like, remember I said the whole Andrew Garfield thing? Oh, he's like 1.73. Oh my God, he's not. He's 1.74. How could I lie, Aaron? How could you be wrong? How are you allowed to be wrong? And I feel like, right now, for example, like me just spazzing. Like, what are you getting from this? I don't know. But, I feel like I'm comfortable doing it. And
like you allow yourself to be wrong sometimes, which is okay.
And allow myself to say things
Yeah.
that might not have content.
Yeah.
Or say things that I might not have already processed. And I think that is something that I'm always very concerned about. So sometimes, whenever someone asks me about something, I will give them my opinion of it. But I always give a disclaimer. Oh, but I haven't really think about it. I haven't really sat down and think about it. But I think isn't that the whole point of a podcast?
Yeah.
If someone wants to listen something completely thought out, then go for a lecture, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Go for a course. Yeah.
And I feel it's kind of like you create this podcast is technically obviously start for yourself, not for the audience. Like, it sounds weird in a way, but I think you got distracted for a bit. Like it's supposed to be a tool to help you to grow, but you somehow become like what the audience wants to listen to. Oh, this is probably not something I want to do, but I'm gonna produce at least 1 episode weekly, even though I can't think of a topic. I just squeeze it. Doesn't matter, the quality might not be the best, but the quantity is there. So you kind of just back to that pattern. Is I'm not saying people pleasing, but you very am I wrong? Is this not the right way? Do people like it? But I think now you kind of, the acceptance is there. So you just do things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it you own it again. It's your tool. The podcast is yours.
Yeah. In conclusion, my podcast is my therapy.
Yeah. Solo therapy.
I'm just
Ish.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I'm speaking with a therapist right now, so.
I mean, oh, that's weird, but yeah.
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 Yeah. Just right before I wrap it up, just want to say that this podcast episode is a tribute to my late grandmother, Cecilia. I genuinely hope that you did not regret any decisions that you've made in your life. And even if you did, I do hope that you've accepted the decisions that you've made. And I pray that your soul rests in eternal peace and love. You are one of the most, actually no, scrap that, you are the most selfless, kind, and lovable human being that I've had the privilege to know. Thank you for everything that you've done for your family, and thank you for being my grandmother. And hopefully one day we'll meet again. And take good care of yourself. And I'll do the same. And with that, I'd just like to remind everyone to celebrate life and to appreciate all the connections that you have around you, and to appreciate yourself too. Once again, thank you for listening. This is Aaron and Kasey. I'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye-bye.